Hi, this is Greg Remke. I'm here in Seattle, Washington. I do workshops on the economics of each year's national debate topic, and I've been doing workshops around the country on the economics of U.S.-China policy for students in the NSDA Public School Debate League and in the NCFCA Homeschool League. Both have a very similar topic on reforming U.S.-China diplomatic or economic or trade policy, or engaging is the word in the public school topic. So what I have here is an update in November 10 or so it is, just on new materials I've been including in the most recent talks to debaters at UIL programs at UT Arlington. Also, this is an update for the students taking our Economics in the Cloud workshop online, where we have a series of the presentations and overheads. So I've been posting on Debate Central, which is debatecentral.ncpa.org, on the China topic as well as on other public school topics. But you'll find my most recent posts on different aspects of the topic there, and I'll discuss them some here. NCPA is a market-oriented think tank in Texas, in Dallas. So this is a PDF I put together early with links on the various China posts that are on the Astounding Ideas China Trade blogspot. And then now, of course, those and others are on the, or most of those are on the Debate Central topic blog, and new ones too. Here's a more recent one with an article on the trade and populist backlash, a look at anti-dumping and countervailing duties, and other issues on the U.S.-China topic, plus recommending some videos, online videos. Okay, so I think the key thing for students that are looking at cases involving trying to protect American jobs or bring back American jobs, it's important to understand that the Chinese haven't taken American jobs. The vast majority of U.S. jobs, some 88%, were taken by automation. That is, robotics. Automation is faster and better than workers when the wage rates are high enough and when the technology advances. So this is a constant process that's been going on for, since Adam Smith is writing, and before that, where people find ways to automate, make things slightly quicker. But we have now new technology both in robotics and electronics, artificial intelligence that is moving things ahead faster. It's important to remember that the process of replacing jobs with machinery is a good thing. That is, it's tough for people to have to get new jobs, but it tends to increase productivity. There's the story of Milton Friedman going to China in the 1960s or 70s, and the Chinese leaders bring him out to an area and show him this road being built, and there's people with shovels, hundreds and hundreds of Chinese workers with shovels, building the road. And Friedman asked, well, why not use tractors and bulldozers? You could get the job done much quicker. His hosts say, well, we've got a lot of people and we need jobs for these people. And Friedman's response was, well, if you want more jobs, why not have them use teaspoons rather than shovels? The point of that is a shovel is a better tool than a teaspoon for making a road. A bulldozer is a better tool than shovels. But what level of automation you use is a decision by the entrepreneur, the enterprise that's doing the work. But the bulldozers put thousands of workers out of business who could have been digging trenches for roads and so on and so forth. Machinery and the farming industry has put hundreds of thousands out of work as it's more effective to use these big combines. In China, people were planting rice by hand. Those jobs get destroyed when they find faster ways to plant rice. That's a good thing. This technology continues. New jobs are created as old jobs are destroyed. But the point of this article is to just blame low-cost workers in China for replacing American jobs is misleading. Other studies have said about 16% of job losses in the last 20 years in the US are because of competition from lower wages in China, the rest of it being robotics. So 79 is when the factory jobs here peaked. We've lost 7 million since, but most of those are lost through automation. So it's important, I think, to get a sense of the incredible potential of Chinese. I mean, we want China to do better for its own sake, for its own workers, for its own people, but as a business opportunity for American manufacturers, American service industries, people producing goods and services in factories in the US and software companies and so forth, China is a huge opportunity. If you look at the average wage in China, 2014, $8,655, but half the population is earning $2,000 a year. So China is both a middle income country with hundreds of millions earning, 8 to 10,000 a year, but it's also an underdeveloped country with very low wages, especially in the rural villages. So here's a breakdown of Chinese consumers. Again, picture of China, half the population are rural workers, average income 2 grand. 30% are migrant workers. There's like the 200 million floating population that are come illegally into the cities and work in factories, and you can see why. They're making almost 3 times more than people in the countryside, even though they're working at very low wages. So for people here who say, gosh, it's terrible, we're buying all this stuff from China and these poor migrant workers are being paid such low wages. Yeah, it's awful that their wages are so low compared to the free workers, in Hong Kong and Singapore and in Taiwan that had market reforms earlier in South Korea. But that's the tragedy of China's history with communism and with sort of poor economic planning, poor economics for a long time. That's tragic. It's awful. But the migrant work, the sweatshop workers are a path out of poverty. Again, they're earning 3 times more in those areas. Most workers are saving 30% of their income and sending it back to the village. So that's a huge supplemental source of income in rural areas and a push toward development. And then about 20% of the country is in average income, 11,700 there. So you can see that even though you can see an average for the entire country, you want to split that out and look at how the country is. The super rich there, 0.2%, but you've got 770 million of the working population. But again, look how much bigger that is than the US population. That's a lot of productive capability. We benefit from that in low-cost goods from China, but those Chinese goods are exported all over the world, and all these people are consumers as well. Also, because when people are poor, the things they need most are food and clothing. So half of the spending on average in China is for people buying just the necessities. Whereas in the US, the average is, $97 a day, what we spend. 17% of that is on recreation. So dramatic difference between prosperous countries like in the western part of the European Union, Japan, the other Asian free countries versus China. A success story in China are the special economic zones that Deng Xiaoping originally set up to prosper, like Hong Kong. Shenzhen across the bay from Hong Kong had stunning success, and this is encouraging students to take a look at what Shenzhen is. It's the most dynamic city in the world, and whereas Silicon Valley is in the software app business, Shenzhen is in the hardware app innovation business. People come from all over the world to take advantage of the rapid prototyping capabilities that Shenzhen companies have, thousands and thousands of companies. But also, these companies don't respect intellectual property. They don't believe in it. So their economy is built around that. And to some extent, if we were to force US IP standards on Shenzhen somehow or try to, that would slow down the technology advances. Now you might say, well, we should do that because it protects intellectual property and people's right to their inventions, but it turns out that slows down innovation on its own. And again, you can look into the different sides of this. For more on the anti-IP argument, this Wired magazine documentary you can find at Wired, use the title on Shenzhen. And this is an hour of giving you a sense of the dynamism there, but also the disrespect for property rights and the pervasiveness of fake products using Western logos, Apple, and all these other things. So it's 2 sides of that story, but it's worth students understanding the innovation and understanding that this is what the US did. U.S. companies copied British companies, didn't pay copyrights. They copied all of Dickens' novels, and so it's not unusual for poor countries to disregard the claims of intellectual property and technology in wealthier countries.